Welcome to the Sax of Friends podcast. Today I have a very special guest, saxophonist extraordinaire, my man from the crib, Frank B Sax. Frank, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Dave. Thanks so much for having me on, man. I've seen some of your past interviews. Hey, this is great. I appreciate you having me.
You know what? I appreciate you too, brother. You know what, man? The thing is, I wanted to try to get the people closer to the music, being that I play a little bit myself, but not on you guys' level, but I can relate though. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Exactly.
and I just like to hear you guys' stories and how everything got started and all that. And to find out this was like years ago, I was listening to you and
Hmm.
I didn't know you was from Chattanooga, right? So you were
Yeah.
doing a video and I saw you at a location that looked familiar. And I said, man, that looked familiar. Then at the bottom you said Chattanooga, Tennessee. I said, okay. I said, he from the crib, man. That's all right,
So,
man.
so you're from here.
I'm originally from San Diego, but I grew up in Chattanooga.
Grew up in Chattanooga.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, man. I went to high school, junior high, and everything down there, man. You know,
Wow. Where did you go to school?
I went to Riverside High School.
Riverside. Man, I just did a an event for them last Christmas. It was for a holiday party or something they were having. That was about
Okay.
a year ago.
Where'd
Yeah.
you go to school at there?
Sorry.
Where did you
Where
go
did
to
I go
school
to?
at?
I
Yeah.
went to Brand. I went
Oh,
to Brand
oh
High
yeah,
School.
yeah, yeah. You went to the rich kids school. I know how it is.
I don't know about that.
So
Wait,
let's take a trip down memory lane, Frank. So when did what piqued your interest in music, man? What got you started, brother?
very good question. Yeah. What piqued my interest in music was my dad and his side of the family. My dad, they grew up in the projects, so he had eight brothers and sisters, and they all play instruments. So
Wow.
I was always around music coming up. My dad was a trumpet player, and he
Okay.
played keyboards, and he mainly sang. He was a good singer, but he did play trumpet and play keys. So coming up as a kid, I was always at the rehearsals with them, just peeping stuff out. I never really saw any saxophones.
Uh-huh.
Ironically, out of all this. But except for one time, I remember there was a guy that they were setting up for a gig. It was so weird to me, but the guy was turned around the opposite way. I don't know if he was scared to play in front of people, but he turned around the opposite way when he played. It's weird. I remember he let me hold the saxophone. That was my first recollection of a saxophone. So I went to private school through the fifth grade, and they didn't offer band. And then by the time I got into the sixth grade, it was offered, and I immediately signed up because I knew I just wanted to be in band playing something. I remember as a kid, my dad had all kinds of instruments around the house: drum set, a drum kit, had keyboards. And I remember I was a horrible drummer. I would try to put on headphones, and back then I used to like to listen to Kiss. My brother had me listen to Kiss. Anyway,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm trying to play, and I just never could get the coordination with my foot and the hand. So I knew drums wasn't my thing. But when band was introduced, yeah, I remember what running home and telling my dad, "Hey, I want I join band." He said, "Great, let's go to the music store. What do you want to play?" And out of all the instruments, it was something about the saxophone. And I don't know if it's like the tone holes. I
Uh-huh.
was so like enamored with that, like, wow. So if I just press these buttons, it'll make music. As a kid, that's how I'm
Right,
thinking.
right.
But I was very intrigued by the instrument, and so intrigued that they never had to tell me to practice. Like when I got home, I was pulling out my book, looking at my fingerings, playing, reading the little songs, "Mary Had a Little Lamb,"
Right.
whatever it was, and I was excited about it. And honestly, to this point, I'm still. That's why I know it's my calling, man, because I'm still just as happy to play, just as excited to play as way back then.
You know,
40
your
years.
your passion shows too, brother. The way you play, man, it
Appreciate it.
conveys. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. You, you not only a great sax player, but you make the horn sing. As sax players, that's what we want to do, right? We want the horn to sing, and brother, yours is saying something.
I
Okay,
appreciate it, man, and I agree with you. I think we should make it sing,
right, right.
make it speak. Yeah.
So you know
Yeah.
what? That brings me to a question about the school system. I don't know what it's like now. I don't know if you have anything to do with the public school system as far as music, but I think it's changed now. But when we were growing up, music was important. and they had programs. Even where we're from, Chattanooga, it's not a big city, but they had good music programs. At Riverside, a lot of my friends were in band, and some of them started bands after school. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of school. What about you guys?
Yeah. So I graduated in 1992, and back then there was definitely way more participation as it pertains to and band instruments
Right.
than it is now. So funny you said that. 3 weeks ago, I went to my Brainerd High School homecoming. I was like, I've never, I haven't been to homecoming in so long. Wanted to see the bands, and the band was really made up of in high school made up of beginners. No, no, not a lot of interest in musical instruments these
Right.
days as compared to the way it was. I think that's a culture issue.
Yeah.
Going from the music culture, I just recently saw a whole interview where Prince was talking about if we don't keep the the art of songwriting and learning instruments to the kids, then music is going to become technology based, and there's not much heart in technology based music. But if you listen to the Chris Brown music and what people like to listen to, it's not a whole lot of live instruments on those songs. So anyway, I think that influences kids to either play instruments or not play instruments. But I guess it really hasn't started at home.
Yeah.
uh, Thankfully for me and for you, back in the day, we didn't have a whole lot of stuff to distract us, like
Right.
tablets and gadgets and
Right. Right.
video games and all this stuff. So you had more time to focus on something. Anyway, to the point. So when I went to the homecoming, I did talk to the band director, and I was just asking her how do you get funding and stuff. Man, she told me she get 1,200 for funding for instruments and all that type of stuff. $1,200 a year for a whole band.
What?
So yeah, so that's nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's
Can't buy
absolutely
one
nothing.
instrument for that.
So it's they try to do a lot of asking for donations and fundraisers and stuff like that,
Sure.
but the school system is not supporting that. Apparently, I don't know
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
why.
Well,
Yeah, I
let me
agree.
ask you. Now, when you were growing up, did you take private lessons as well?
Mm-mm. No, I didn't take any private lessons. No, and I'm not trying to shift gears in your question. I didn't get private lessons. I mainly played by ear. Of course, I played. I was in school, so read music in school, and we did have a certain level of like competitions. I remember at the time we had a competition called All State East. I guess it was a competition from the whole state of Tennessee, uh, gathered together in Knoxville, and you auditioned by reading a piece of music, and depending on how you performed on it, they put you in one of five bands. And so it was a little bit competitive. I never was the best reader, um, but I'm sorry. I think I got away from your question. What was your question?
Nah, don't worry about it, man. We just talking
Yeah.
about the school system and how the funding
Oh yeah.
and everything is
Yeah.
just not what it used to be. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, going back, I remember. Yeah, $1,200. So that's what she said that they had for the budget. That's not really a lot of money. So
Yeah,
not a lot of interest in it. You
I
know.
know, man. So, and did you when you were learning by ear, did you were were some of your earlier influences were some of the legends your influences or some of the more modern players? What was your thing?
Yeah, modern players.
Modern
Yeah,
players?
that's where I was going. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, where I was going with that was my influences was not the Charlie Parker and John Coltrane and things that other saxophonists probably think that every saxophonist should be listening to.
Right.
My dad, I guess he was on even though him being a musician, he was unfamiliar with those artists. He didn't tell me to listen to those artists. So at the time that I started playing saxophone, I think I started playing saxophone in 1986. 1987, Kenny G duo tones with Songbird came out. So what am I hearing everywhere? What is everyone raving about? So of course it had a huge influence on my interest, especially due to the popularity that he had with the music, and I like the music. It was easy to play,
Right.
right? Especially for someone that's young and aspiring. So that's where it started. It went from there. I remember right after high school, I got together with a band, a guy that's he's actually a band director now at a local high school. His name's Dexter Bell, but he's a few years older than me. But he got me and a few other guys together to form a band, and so he introduced me to Grover Washington Jr. And one of the first songs that I played by Grover Washington Jr. you would think would be Mr. Magic. It wasn't. It was a song called Santa Cruisin'. I
Okay,
don't
I
know if
know
you
that
remember
one.
that song
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
Reed Seed
yeah,
album.
yeah.
That was my first song by Grover, and I loved it. And went on, was inspired by Dave Koz and other smooth jazz artists like Paul Taylor. But then I really one that really influenced me into my, into kind of like the style that I have now. Really, it's just like a compilation of listening to all these different guys. I guess the same way if I listened to Charlie Parker for years, and if I listened to Coltrane for years, then I guess my style would be more like that. But Kim Waters, man,
Yeah, he's
I don't know
nice.
a lot of people talking about Kim Waters, and of course Najee. I did listen to Dot Najee and Gerald, of course,
Yes.
but Kim, the way he played, it was easier to transcribe or mimic those kind of licks versus someone else. So I really learned a lot from Kim Waters, and just through the years, it's kind of made my own style out of my influences. You know what I mean? So I played right after that band that I told you about with Dexter Bell. My uncle, at this time I'm probably 22, 23. My uncle invited me to play with his band. Their sax player moved out of town, so I'm playing with all these cats that are old enough to be my dad, and they're playing a lot of Johnny Guitar Watson and a bunch of just old blues stuff,
Yeah,
stuff that I would never listen to or play.
right.
But it was a great learning experience because even through all that, I got I got to learn how to improvise a little bit and play solos and learn different music and stuff like that, and it just kind of kept going.
Where
Yeah.
did you play at around Chattanooga? Though? What area? Where were you like? Where were you gigging at that time?
Back then,
Yeah,
so back then in the late '90s, there was a little juke joint called Murphy's Lounge.
I
I don't
remember
know if you
that.
know.
I
Remember
remember that.
Murphy's?
I
It's close
remember
to
that.
Howard.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember that. Yeah.
Man, we would play in there. It was so hilarious. Every week we got paid $50 a man. That was a lot of money for me back then. Shoot, I got $50 for playing a gig. And we played the same set list every week in front of the same people. But it was so great, man, because some people act like every time they heard it, it was the first time we played it. So
Yeah.
it was all good. But back then, and there was a few other spots that the
What about the
band
blue
performed.
note or the whole note or with the whole note and half note?
The Whole Note was the first place that I actually did a gig with that band, the Dexter Bell Band, where we played
Okay.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
The Whole Note was the first place I actually had a gig. Yeah,
See, I still
yeah.
remember, man.
Man, if you saw that place now, man, that building is tore up,
Oh,
man.
is it?
It's an eyesore. It's still sitting there, but anyway, yeah.
You
But
know what? That's cool, man.
yeah, I'm trying to think of other spots. They got booked it for gigs and stuff. I would do gigs with them, whatever it may have been for a wedding reception or whatever. So I did do, gig like that back then.
How old were you when you get your first paid gig? That's when you become a
Ooh.
pro. You get some money, you're a pro.
Yeah, so I was probably like 21 or 20 or 21.
Okay.
That's when I did the gig at the Hold On. I'm not sure. I can't remember how much I got paid, but I
Yeah,
did get
yeah.
paid something. Yeah.
But you knew you had something there though, right? You knew you had something, you know.
Yeah, I was just excited about it. And then around that time too, I remember going to Atlanta and winning a talent show. It was very random. I had not planned on even being in a talent show. I just happened to have my horn with me, and I was with some friends and ended up winning the talent show. And at the time, I needed the money. I won like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I was like $500. This was in the late night. That was a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
Shoot.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I get invited back to the finals. And I went back to the finals and lost because everyone that came, they brought a whole crew of people with because it was based on like Apollo, like cheers and stuff.
Right.
So everybody had their teams. So
Which
yeah,
sax
but
which sax did you
huh,
start out on, Frank? Which one? Alto, tenor, or soprano?
I start off on a buffet. Or is it buffet or buffet?
Buffet. Yeah.
Now was that made by Selmer? I think I'm not sure who made that horn, but yeah, that was my first horn. It was an alto, and let me see. I had that all the way up until I got this one, my soprano. My parents bought me this one in '91,
What?
and mhm, and this is a YSS 675. Now, when's the last time you seen a 675? I don't know if you can see
I
that.
haven't, man. I don't. Yeah, that's a man. So how many
I
times you had
thought,
to repad it?
ah, wow. So you're not gonna believe this. Uh, maybe once. Now I get my horn. So like I had, where is it? Well, anyway, I just recently bought a leak light, and
Okay,
the little thing you stick in your
right.
horn, I was right over there. And even to right now, I have no leaks in my. So I just take care of my pads one at a time or as needed, basically, and just try to do a good job cleaning them. But I've had an overhaul. I take that back. I think I've had an overhaul twice. Well, I can't even say it was a complete overhaul because these guys I used to take it to were so tedious, and they try to dumb you down and charge you 25, $3,000
Yeah.
to overhaul a horn.
Right, right.
you know. So I've dumbed things down a little bit, but maybe a couple of times, and all that time, it's kind of weird.
But you swab
Yeah.
after every time you use it. If you swab, if we swab like let the air dry a little bit, they'll last a lot longer too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And before the key leaves came out, I was already putting an old reed in my C sharp
Okay. Yeah.
to keep C sharp and G sharp
It's some
open.
sticking
So
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's all
Main
right.
thing about that is I really try to be particular about not playing and eating or eating and playing. And if I am drinking, maybe the water is cool, but like if I'm drinking anything sticky, I try not to play. I try not to drink that while I'm playing.
I have this habit. I brush my teeth. If I eat anything, especially before I practice whatever, I always brush before I play.
Yeah, man.
Anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, because all that stuff goes into the horn
It
for real.
does. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want all
Yeah.
that mess on there though, man. So let me ask you this, Frank. What exercises were you using, man, to get that such beautiful tone that you have, man? What kind of things were you doing?
Honestly, I think I was just trying to sound like other people, and it just came out that way. I was trying to sound like Gerald at one time. I was trying to sound like Boney James at one time. I started playing tenor about 11 years ago. And all that time, I never picked up a tenor until 2014. And I just, out of tone wise, I mean, I'm a smooth jazz type of artist. So, I like Boney's tone, so I wanted to try to sound like him. I listened to it. Maybe my style might mimic his from time to time, but I think everyone still has their own unique tone. So uh I think just playing, man, just continuing
Long
to
tones?
play. I can't say that I actually practice a lot of long tones,
Okay.
like specifically. I just remember just trying to always play, just keeping the horn in my mouth, paying attention to what professionals do. How are they sounding when they go to the lower range? And it's like you can have a natural tone, like if you play like C on a soprano and you play it natural tone, it's gonna bob. It's gonna sound like an instrument. So I just kind of learned to manipulate the reed with my mouth and give it a softer touch, like a subtone, to soften that sound. Because again, like you said at the beginning of the interview, I want to make it sing. In my opinion, now this is just my opinion, but the best sounding instrument on earth is the human voice. So the closer that I can come in my playing style and through the tone of my horn to sound like a human voice, in my opinion, I think I'm doing well. Because again, I'm not a jazz player per se, and we can get into talking about that if you want to. I'm not afraid of that topic.
Now, you know what? It's okay, man. Because everybody has their thing. Like me, I'm older than you. I grew up on that stuff, but I never wanted to play that either, to be honest with you. Now, giant steps has never really been my thing. But I do
Yeah.
love the standards, though. I like the standards of the nearness of you and all those autumn leaves. I like that stuff. But I didn't like it when everybody was going 400 miles an hour and all that, though. You know what I mean?
Man,
I wasn't
Robert
with that.
Glasper. Yeah, well, I just saw a Robert Glasper made it was a reel where he was talking about drummers, but you can really use it with any instrument. He was like, man, everybody got speed. What else do you have to offer besides speed? You know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
uh, and again, where I am at, like I don't make my money off jazz. if a person is a jazz artist in today's time, you better already be recognized and getting gigs. Because how in the world are you going to be a full time musician if you're a jazz artist, or if all you listen to or all you perform rather is straight ahead jazz? There's not a lot of people that's paying big bucks for that. First of all, well, like I said, we can get into that, but anyway, that never was my style. So I always tell like people that have they're wanting to learn to play saxophone. I tell them play the style of music that you want to play. For the people, there's a lot of people that are sticklers about this, but the ones that basically, when they see this, like for example, when someone sees this, oh, it's jazz. Does
Exactly.
it, does it have to be jazz? I mean, I know it's jazz is played on an instrument like this and other instruments, but why does it all automatically, if you're playing this, well, that's it. You're doomed to jazz. You can't play any other style. You can't make it sound any other way. And if you do, you're a sellout and all this. I don't get out like that. And people that think like that are narrow minded and they probably don't have a lot of gigs.
You know what,
Yeah.
man? The jazz police has always been out there, man. I'm telling you, I went to see Kenny G this past Saturday, right?
How was it?
He still's got his fastball, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, he still
Mhm.
do his thing. But the only thing about Kenny G is we know you can circle or breathe, but you don't have to do it after every song. You don't have to do it 25 minutes. Yeah, that's my only thing with Kenny G, though. Do you know what I
I
mean?
thought I'm listen. Last time I went to see Kenny G, it was right before COVID. I fell asleep in the concert, man. I fell asleep in the concert. But yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that, man. I think Kenny G was a far better player in his 80s. I call him classic Kenny G.
Right, right.
In
Yeah,
the late 80s and early 90s, he played up with a lot more intention.
right, right.
So it seems like now everything is just a bunch of memorized,
Yeah.
which hey, at this point, I guess he's a
Oh, yeah,
multi-millionaire.
yeah.
So
He's
and
still
he's
great,
done,
and his
yeah.
technically he's his fundamentals and everything are just great. It's just that I don't need 30 minutes of circular breathing. That's all. Other than that, though, I can get down with you.
And Dave, why do you do the same show for the past 20 years, the same order of
No.
songs?
Yeah, I know.
Like all the songs you create, you can't pull nothing outside. They just
I know.
surprise somebody.
Yeah.
Like I like some of his other stuff. There's a song off one of his albums he did. I think it was the Heart and Soul album.
Yeah.
It's a song called After Hours. Have you heard that song?
I think I have.
It's like it got an R&B kind of like feel to it. I mean,
So the
now again,
duets was great too when he did the duets with all the
yeah,
different people. But he doesn't play that in concert. He plays the same. So I was
the
like, okay,
same
yeah,
the same format. I
yeah,
mean, I guess his management tells him to do wear the same clothes.
yeah,
Hey, I'm
everything.
just saying, I'm not him, but if it was me, I just got more like I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
I get tired of playing the same stuff now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So if I had the ability to do what I wanted to do, you come to a Kenny G show, it's not gonna take anything away. Most of the people that's been to a Kenny G show by now has already seen him before.
yeah,
So they probably would appreciate a different lineup of songs or something different.
right, right.
And not so much gimmicky stuff like the
Yeah,
circular breathing, you
that's it.
know.
Do you circle breathe yourself on occasion or?
Yeah, but I don't make it a habit
Yeah,
of doing it.
yeah,
Now, if I'm performing live, yeah, I have done it.
yeah,
Of course, I've milked it,
yeah.
but I try not to let it be a common thing that I do.
How
So
hard is that for you to learn that though? That's I tried it a couple times. It's kind of difficult, man. Trying to drink through a straw and all that stuff the way you do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, I learned way back then.
Did you?
Yeah, it's just I kind of watched. I think I heard Kenny G talking about it one time, and yeah, I started practicing. Uh, with like basically yeah, like you said with a straw,
Yeah.
but it never was something I just wanted to be known for and just want to keep on doing.
Right.
I was more interested in just being able to play correctly and have a decent sound.
So I
Yeah.
want to ask you, man. You play so many great covers, man. As a matter of fact, let's take a listen to your. I want to take a listen to something that you did, your
Okay.
personal one, which was the. Uh, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Lay you down. The lay
Oh,
down
lay
music.
lay down
Yeah,
music.
lay down music. Let's take a listen to lay down music.
All
Lay
right.
down music from Frank B. Let's check it out.
the sound isn't really coming through, Dave. I'm not sure if there's
That's nice, man.
appreciated there. Yeah, that was a song I wrote back a while ago.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful, man. I like the way you play that soprano, man. And since you play all the horns equally well, what's your
Mhm.
signature? What's your if you had to play one, they say, Frank, you got to play one. You got to be alto, tenor, or soprano. Which one would you? I got to
Man,
guess.
uh, that's hard, but I would just have to say soprano because the soprano, the actual saxophone is sentimental to me because I've had it for so long. My parents bought it for me, so for that reason. But it's hard to say if I had to say because of how it plays and how I enjoy playing it. It would be between the tenor and the soprano. So I don't know. And out of all this time, the alto is still my least played instrument out of the three. I don't know, man.
Oh, man. Hey, let's talk about horns. Let's talk about your setups, man. We know you got your Yamaha there, and I know you got a
Yep.
cannonball.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I got a Cannonball Raven. And is that what you have? You have
No,
the
I have the A5, the Black
okay,
Ruby A5. Yeah,
the Ruby.
yeah. And then this one right
Oh,
here, this is my John Paul. This is one I just mess around with. You know how you have one that you just,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I just leave
The,
this one on the stand. So when I want to just play, I'll just come out and grab that one. But yeah, my
uh,
cannonball, I don't know, Frank, you know what? I had never played anywhere before. I played at church about a month ago. It was my
mm,
first time playing in public. And I did
oh
pretty
wow.
good, man. So they invited me back. So I'm gonna play a couple more times, man, at church, man.
Nice,
That
nice.
was a blessing, man.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, that's something you could probably do as often as you like, is if they were willing to have you.
Right, right. And
I
I'm
I
still
used to play.
learning. I'm still learning, but it's fun though, man. I enjoy it, man.
Well, let me tell you, it's funny you said that. I probably learned the most as far as like I, coming through high school. There was obviously certain keys I was more comfortable playing in. Well, when I started playing in church, that ended that problem because you got to be able to play in all keys, major, minor. So it was a great joy playing in church and playing all the different music and they're modulating. And I ain't familiar with this key, but you're learning. You're learning by going through all those modulations.
It's funny you said that, man, because the second song that we played, it was one that went to three different keys, and I was sitting there and I wasn't really sure, right? So when I wasn't
Mhm.
sure, I just didn't do anything though. I just when he came back down, got back to the D, my D, then I was like, okay, I can do a little something and get a little something and get in and out. But I'm learning though. I'm learning because when you're with choirs, you got to fit in, right? You just got to stick in and stick out, right? Just did that and get out because you can't be over the singers, right? You know.
Right. Correct. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. Unless they have a jam session, an open session for you to really get in it or something, which they do sometimes. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So, Frank,
But
let's
yeah,
talk. I'm sorry.
yeah. So I have the cannonball, and then for my tenor, I got a. I am actually in the market for a new tenor, but
Okay.
I'm playing currently a P Muriat La Bravo 200,
Okay.
which is an intermediate, one of the intermediate. So just last week. I went to the music store here and I played a Yamaha, a gold lacquer Yamaha 62, the 3 series.
Okay.
And it made me feel like, what the hell have I been playing on all this time? It was very free blowing, man. So I'm wanting to, use this horn as a backup horn. But so I was trying to go between Yamaha and Yanagisawa. And I saw Yanagisawa had I saw an open box for it's for O2, WO2,
Okay.
which is the bronze one. And I think it was 5,800 bucks. But man, um, the Yamaha 62 is 46
Ah,
right now.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're gonna do a Black Friday sale. So, but I played a gold lacquer. I was really wanting to try silver lacquered 62.
Okay.
Yeah, because I heard Sir Valor Sax. Sir
Oh
Valor
yeah. Yeah.
Sax
Yeah.
from
That's a
YouTube.
bad boy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I heard him raving about it, and he raved about it so much it piqued my interest. I was like, I want to try that silver one. But I started off by playing the gold one. So I'm gonna get either the gold. My next tenor which I plan on getting probably in the next month. It's going to be a gold lacquered YSS 62 or a silver.
You can't go
Like,
wrong with either one of Yanni or Yamaha, man. You know what I mean? Either one of those, bro, gonna get you right, man.
yeah, I just don't have enough money for silver. I don't
Oh,
have
the
$25,000.
Supreme. When I went to the NAM show, I looked at that thing, and Mike Phillips was over there trying it, and I was like, $10,000, man, for an Alto? That's ridiculous. I mean, I know it's nice, but is it $10,000 nice? You know what I mean? Uh,
You know, yeah.
but it is what it is. You know what I mean? And what were you playing on mouthpieces?
So my mouthpieces, both on my alto and my tenor, are Jody Jazz DV7s,
Okay.
and for my soprano, I'm playing a Dukoff D8.
Okay. Those are nice, definitely nice pieces there, man.
And I'm gonna have to holler at you one day, man. Maybe you can give me a little educational mouthpieces because unfortunately, for me, it's like when I find something that works, I don't really experiment with a lot of other stuff, and I know there's like a ton of other great mouthpieces and stuff like that that I would probably be blown away by if I just tried it. But I don't know anything about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and yeah, you're right about that. I am the mouthpiece guru, man, because I done had all of I
really,
done sold a bunch of 'em. I had the DV too. I got rid of though. I played the HR for on
uh-huh.
alto and soprano, and on tenor I played the Giant, Jody Jazz Giant. Yeah,
Okay.
and the
Is that
Yanni,
metal or hard rubber?
the metal. Well, the Giant is a combination hard rubber and ionized metal. It's got a coating on it. It's
Mm,
a great piece, man. But I also have a Theo Wane Durga 5 for the alto. Now that's killer right there, man. You know.
one of my partners was talking about that. In fact, he just got one for his tenor, and that tenor was the least played instrument. Now he's doing a whole gig with the
Oh
tenor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
put that tenor down, man. What's going on? Thought you liked the other instruments. It's hit the mouthpiece is
That
like
Durga, man.
making that thing sing.
That thing, yeah, it does. And especially if somebody with your ability. You know, for me, it's a little I can't really control it just yet, so I don't use it as much. That's why I say with the hard rubber. But for you, Durga 5, man. Dude.
Really?
Yes.
So yeah. Do they have like a return policy? Like, what if I get? I'm like, maybe I should have got a different size. Did they work with
You
you
know
on stuff
what?
like that?
I think they will, but you know what? I actually bought mine on eBay though. I bought open box ones.
Got you.
You know what I
Got you.
mean?
That's
So I
probably
got
the
like
best way to go.
it was 750, it's 750 for the new one, and I got it for 450.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I need to
open
do that then.
box demo. But not from an individual, from a store online on
Yeah.
eBay. Yeah. Good. And
Yeah, I need to do that then. Yeah. Wow.
yeah, look for the open box. Matter of fact, later after we do this, I'll show you, I'll send you the link or whatever where you can take a
I
look.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem,
Yeah.
man. You know?
Yeah, man. But yeah, I don't I heard you ask earlier something about I do a lot of covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you. And it's so everyone's path is different. Everyone's path is different, and some people have just different aspirations for you. Like, well, why didn't you do this? Well, why didn't you come out with any music? Or why didn't you do that? And it's like, man, like I've tried. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I I don't really care if I'm playing a cover song or my own music anymore because at the end of the day, I'm just making trying to make a living playing music, period. And the amount of effort and money and time that it takes to put into your own project that might not even go anywhere, especially with today's way today's music works, it's kind of hard. And then to find the right producer that can play music that you want. Like I've played with many producers and given them many my layout for how I want my music to sound, and it just never is just never quite there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So and then you got to pay for that. You know what I mean? So uh my stroke of luck in that field hasn't never really went anywhere. So uh one of my main I guess um reasons for starting to do cover songs the way you see them on YouTube and stuff was basically when I finally found out how to make it sound. At the time I was using iRig and stuff like that. When I finally learned about that, I really was mainly doing it from my local crowd where I live here in Chattanooga. I had no idea it was going to blow up into a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
But I wanted people locally to know that I knew how to play more music than what they saw me play live, because I played with lazy bands back in the day
Yeah.
where we would play the same songs every year
Yeah.
in front of the same people. And so me playing the leads, I look like the front man. Well, Frank doesn't know anything besides those songs. That's it. Every year. And I was like, when I finally got there, I was like, oh, now they can hear, they can see. I'm gonna show them that I can play other songs,
Right.
And what started off as that as a hobby turned into a really big thing. And I'm very thankful for it. I'm almost at a quarter of a million followers on all my platforms, and I'm very thankful for that, because of that reach. It helps me stay busy, helps keeps me booked, keeps me working,
Yeah,
and that's
that's
all I'm trying to do. My dream job was to I wanted to be a full-time musician. I didn't care how it looked, I don't
mhm.
care if I'm providing musical services for people. I never really wanted to be a band teacher, but I didn't want to have to punch a clock on a job. So I'm just thankful for being able to do that now, you know. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. So when did you
Yeah,
start the
man.
Quiet Storm, man? Because that's a real popular joint you got there, man.
Yeah, man. I started this earlier this year. Earlier this year, I have a moderator, a friend of mine that helps me with my TikTok lives. And you know, I threw the name around during some lives because it's usually at night when I go live. I just try to create slow jams. You know what I'm saying? It's the
Right.
quiet
Mhm.
storm. It's nighttime. We winding down, getting
Right.
ready to
Right.
go do it. And it just kind of stuck with me. And she had a graphics guy, the guy that makes my t-shirts and stuff, kind of she surprised me and had that put together.
Beautiful,
And so
man.
I was already needing a prop behind me for my TikTok lives. My TikTok manager was telling me to put something aesthetic in the background, and it's kind of roll with it. So now that's kind of like an ongoing theme on my TikTok live. Man, let me tell you, man, an- anyone can make money on TikTok. I'm telling you. Like, it's so amazing how much money I've made off TikTok, and how many bookings I've got. I don't know if you saw recently, I was in Detroit Mission playing a gig
I
up
saw
in
that.
Detroit
Yeah.
for an event.
Uh-huh.
Guess where I got that gig from?
Where?
TikTok.
What? Okay.
Yeah, and it was from a live stream. So people will, like, sometimes TikTok will feed you people you never know who's watching. Hey man, you're great. What is your information? Boom, information. Before you know, I got deposits, I got plane tickets secured, and I'm going to perform somewhere. So I've gotten several bookings from being live on TikTok or from my posts. I got my website stuff linked out, but at the end of the day, it's not even about any particular style or genre, because I do perform different
Right.
genres of music. I'm trying to advertise me. And let me go back and say this, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this, other saxophonists, and kind of backtracking a little bit on what we said earlier. But as far as jazz or smooth jazz, or do you play like this, or oh, I don't like him because he plays like this and it's not like this. Well, you know what? Last time I checked, last time I checked, this is an instrument, and I'm in control of what this what comes out of it, not the other way around. So I'm saying that to say that if there's someone out there frustrated, like maybe straight ahead jazz isn't your thing, uh, I would say maybe learn it for whatever you can learn out of it that fits what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be better at what I'm doing. And at the same time, guess what? Other people like it. Other people like it, because if they didn't, then I wouldn't be getting booked and I'd have to go work a job. So as long as you just be true in your heart to what you want to do, it's a musical instrument. It doesn't dictate what comes out of it. You do.
Right.
So if you want to play country, or I don't care, bluegrass, if you're able to be successful doing that, then I'm not gonna hate on you. I just see a whole lot of hate amongst saxophonists, and it's very discouraging, because when I look at groups of other instruments, like trumpet groups, they celebrate the instrument.
Right.
They're not hating. So, oh man, oh that's Kenny G, or that's whatever. You get into the whole Pat Metheny and Kenny G debate,
Exactly. Yeah.
type of stuff. At the end of the day, Pat Metheny was crazy. He's like probably still is crazy, because if Kenny G wants to play whatever he want to
Yeah.
play and make money doing it, then he can do it. You know
Hello.
what I mean?
My buddy
Don't
John
hate
Timber.
on people because they're
Yeah.
successful. It don't mean that they sold out. What does selling out mean? selling out like where is it written that because I play saxophone, I have to play Charlie Parker music or I have to play John Coltrane or whoever? It's not written anywhere. It's an
Yeah.
instrument. That's why I said all that. It's because I know someone might be watching, and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, but I am big on that. Just be you, do you. If you
Yeah.
like straight ahead jazz, then go for it. You know, whatever works for you.
You know,
But
my
just
buddy
don't hate
John
on
Clemmer,
nobody.
my friend
Uh,
John Clemmer mentioned that because you've heard of John Clemmer, right? Or have you? Touch and Hush back in the day. Anyway, we'll
okay.
talk about it. But anyway, he was making albums long before then, but when he made Touch, it became a commercial success and Hush. And then all of a sudden the jazz police said John Clemmer couldn't play because he was telling me, he said, I'm reading it, I can't play anymore all of a sudden. I was playing with Miles and doing this, that, and the other, but now all of a sudden I can't play anymore because I made a record that sold. But that's how it was especially bad then, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sanborn went through the same thing. Sanborn was crucified because he said, well, you're not playing, Sanborn was one of the best ever, man. You know what I mean? But they did, but jazz
And
police didn't like
again,
it.
what's wrong with that's the narrow-minded people
Yeah,
that think that because you play a saxophone, you got to play a certain way. And if you don't, you're a sellout or you're a trash or you're, and that's crazy because if someone can still sell out shows like Kenny G, man, that's why Pat Metheny hates him, man. I saw recently a recent video, man, the house was packed.
yeah,
Still, this dude's pushing 70.
yeah, yeah,
Still packing out. That's why Pat Metheny hates him. I'm
yeah.
like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's a celebration, in my opinion. It's a win for the saxophone.
It
It's a
is.
win. It's a win for this right here. He's the highest selling instrumentalist of all time. And guess what the instrument is? It's a saxophone. So it's a win for the saxophone. That's
That,
how I look at it. Like if you don't like the music, then you don't have to like the music, but you also don't have to hate on someone
no,
because they don't play the way that you want them to play. That's
exactly.
the part that gets me. So
Yeah. All right, right. Hey, let me ask you about the covers, man. How do you how do you pick the covers that you want to play, and then how do you come up with your set list when you do your Quiet Storm?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. The songs just come to me. I play songs that I've heard before that I like, and I think that I could perform well on a saxophone. And some songs is by force because I do services like saxograms, which is basically a pre-recorded video for someone where I say, "Hi, I'm Frank B. I'm from blah 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 blah. I'm here to give you a message from such and such, and I'm gonna play a song for you." And they might give me a specific song that I never learned to play, so I have to learn it. But most songs are very easy to play because most songs are melody based. So I'm just listening for the notes. I could care less about the words. I'm just trying to listen for that's the hardest part, listening to it over and over again. It's very easy for me to at this point to find the key, but if I'm not familiar with how the melody goes up and down or how they're doing it, then I don't know what to play. So by now, going to your question about the Quiet Storm, I got my iPad right here, and it's got hundreds and hundreds of songs that I've broken up. Either I either have karaoke tracks or songs that I have the software now where you can take the saxophone off of a song. Like I can take Boney off of his own song now, or I can take a voice off of a song and just use that song, that original song, as my track.
Oh,
So I have,
wow, that's
yeah, I
pretty
have
clever, man.
hundreds of songs now that you know. And even though I have hundreds of songs, I still feel like I play the same thing. But I'm doing 2 hour live streams a night, so that's 10 hours of songs each week. So eventually, some songs are still going to roll around. I try to play songs that I think people are going to be familiar with. Sometimes I don't care so much. Sometimes I do a lot of. I have a ton of very well arranged. I guess for lack of a better term, it's called lo-fi music. But amazing rhythms, amazing chord changes through the song, and there's a lot of times I will just create a song out of that live. It's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna improv a song and just roll with it like that. Just use my style and what I've learned and just play. Just make the horns sing.
That's it, bro.
So that's that.
You be doing it, man.
I appreciate it, man. Do you ever tune into the TikTok lives?
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I saw you on
Awesome.
there. Yeah, I saw you do your stuff, man. Hey, so let me
Yeah,
ask you,
man.
man. You've opened for some big time artists like the late Angie Stone and Shantae
hmm
Moore and people like
hmm
that, man. What was that like, man?
Wow. So you mentioned those two in particular. Let me just use those two. Shantae Moore was and Angie Stone. The experiences were opposite. Angie was such a sweetheart. I mean, down to earth. I got a whole story about that. And but Shantae on the other side was very the opposite of that.
Mm,
And I don't know about her problem. It was COVID. It was during COVID when I met. I mean, I opened up for Shantae Moore, but her attitude was very.
mm,
I think she made a lot of people mad that night.
yeah.
But I didn't really talk to her too much at all. But Angie, it was so crazy because the guy that booked me to open up for Angie apparently booked us all on the same flight, and I didn't know it until we land in Seattle, and I'm texting the driver. He's saying come outside, and I see other musicians. I'm like, oh, they might be here for for the show. And so I was like, "Are y'all here for the whatever the event was?" And I said, "Yeah." And Angie was right there the whole time, and I didn't even know it. Anyway, I was like, "Well, he outside." He said he outside. So I went. I'm like, they just kind of looked. I'm like, I'm going outside, and I went and just jumped in the car. Well, guess whose car I jumped in?
Oh,
Angie's car, because I didn't know it was them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I'll get it. Anyway, so got in there, and they let me stay in there. One of the background singers came in. Angie's got in, and this time I still don't know that it's her until we're writing, and I'm talking to the singer, and the way he's describing things, it just clicked. Oh, that's Angie right there, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, Angie, how you doing? I said, I noticed you don't have a saxophone player in your band. I said, do you ever have saxophone players in your band? And she said, yeah, every now and then I get Reggie Hines. You know Reggie
I've
Hines?
heard him. I've heard him before. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you need to get Reggie Hines on the show. Reggie Hines is, yeah,
Okay.
just look him up. Do some research on him.
Okay. I'll
But
do that.
but yeah, she said, yeah, I have Reggie Hines. I said, oh well, I know she ain't gonna call me then. But anyway, she was so cool. Like, so we rode together to the hotel the whole time, and she talked to me like almost like we had already known each other. It was really wild.
Yeah.
uh rode to the to the show and back together, and she just was a sweetheart. After I said, now as we got to take a picture. Well, come on. She just like just so cool, man.
Yeah.
And so was her team and everyone that was around her. Everybody was just real cool. When I heard about that, was that earlier this year?
Yeah,
my,
man.
my heart sunk, man. My heart sunk. I was blown away, man. Gone way too soon.
Yeah. They said she was a beautiful, beautiful woman, inside and out. Yeah.
Yeah, really good spirit. Because she didn't have to be like that.
No, no, no,
I
no.
was expecting the Shantae Moore attitude. You know what I mean? When you're a celebrity, but no, she wasn't like that at all. She wasn't like that at all.
Hey, let me ask you about horns here. Vintage
Mhm.
versus modern. Are you into the Mark Sixes and all that? Were you ever into that?
Yeah, I played a few, and in
Mhm.
my opinion, I would if you're putting everything collectively into a horn, and if you're just talking about just playing it only, maybe there's a fight there for the a vintage. But if you're talking about the amount of money that it takes to find the right one and all this and that, and I would just say just get a modern horn. The modern horns play great. I think the older horns, for what they cost and what you got to go through, is overrated in my opinion. I don't care. Look, that could be debated
Yeah.
till Jesus come back.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion because they cost a lot of money. And the amount you pay for that, you might as well just get a Supreme
Yeah.
or get hey, they go up from there if you want to get the sterling
Yeah.
silver one.
Yeah, that's
That
true. Yeah.
but you're gonna have with the new one, you're not gonna have no issues.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have to wonder, is this the right serial number or this or that, because they all of them pretty consistently play,
Yeah.
you know. So I would say modern.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Hey, so give me
Mhm.
your Mount Rushmore of sax players, man. I'll give you five, because it's hard to get four sometimes, but I'll give you five. Any era.
Okay. Okay. Uh okay, I'm gonna say Joe. All right.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say Chris Potter.
Oh, wow,
I'm
okay.
gonna, yeah, I love, man. Even
Oh,
though I'm not a jazz head,
oh,
man, that dude is crazy.
he saw
He's
the
sick. There's something
change, man.
wrong with him. There's something wrong with him, man.
Yeah.
Chris Potter is insane.
He is.
Who else? There's another guy that again, I'm not this style player, but Baptiste Herbine.
Yeah, I've heard him
I
too.
know I'm skipping over a lot of the older cats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna stick two older cats, and you gave me three. I mean, you gave me five. So Baptiste Herbine, have you heard of him or
Yes.
seen him?
Uh-huh.
Crazy. And this is I haven't had a lot of time to really think about this, but of course I got to put Charlie Parker up there.
Yeah.
Uh, and I would probably say Grover Washington.
That,
I know
you can't go
some people are
wrong.
like, man, you didn't say Coltrane, you didn't
I
say
know.
this person, but these people are people that have influenced me, so that's my Mount Rushmore.
That hey, that works
Yeah,
for me, man. It's
yeah,
what you like, man.
yeah, yeah.
So, what kind of advice would you have for younger artists? Somebody want to play. I know you saying before about try to how to make. What would you kind of advice would you say, especially for saxophonists or something? Guys just starting out now. He wants to become pro. What kind of advice would you give him?
So my advice usually is more discouraging than it is encouraging at first, because I want someone to understand that when they pick up the horn, it is a discipline, and you're only going to be as good as you are serious about it. So I could be an aspiring basketball player, but if I never pick up the ball and go through the things I need to do to be a good basketball player, I'm never gonna progress. So I let people know up front, if you're aspiring to do this, be serious about it, and especially if you're already an adult, there's a few things you need to think about: how much time you're going to actually have to be able to do it. If you're working a job, if you have a family, all these things can really get in the way. Versus someone that is in school who can be totally dedicated to the instrument. They don't have a job to keep. They don't have to tend to a family. They can spend more time doing that. So this is what I always confront people with, because this is what's going to happen. They had great aspirations. I kind of pop the bubble, because I'm not trying to pop the bubble. I'm just trying to give them a dose of reality. When you get the horn home, are you going to put it in your mouth and play? Are you going to go through the steps it takes to be good, which that just takes time. Unfortunately, for this instrument, unlike a stringed instrument or a piano, you have to have the instrument in your mouth if you want to sound good. You need to be practicing, as having your mouth as much as possible. Versus if I'm playing a piano, that's not so much a problem with that, because it's going to sound like an A flat chord no matter who hits it.
Right.
But I'm depending upon this for a particular sound, and the way that develops is through playing it. So I always tell people, start off there. If you have the time, you have the aspiration, and you're gonna do it, then start there, and let's see how that goes first. Let's get the basics first, and then we'll go from there. Because I don't want to give someone false hope, or say, hey man, you could have this down in 3 years, or this, that. It really just depends upon, like what I said, with basketball or golf or anything else, how much time you're putting into it. And there's a lot of things to consider, because it's not just that you're learning the saxophone. You're learning a lot about it. You're learning the fingerings. At some point, you're going to need to learn music, maybe to read music, or at least understand how to play your scales.
Right.
Major and minor scales, and there's books for that. It's very
Yeah.
easy
Yeah.
to do that. But that's, let's start there and see how that goes. And because again, going back to me, and I'm not saying everybody got to be like me, but man, no one had to tell me to practice. I was so excited about playing the saxophone. If anything, my parents were saying, "Okay, it's time to put it down," you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can really help someone that has that kind of aspiration, someone that doesn't have that aspiration, because I get a lot of inquiries from parents. Oh, my kid, just because I'm teaching your kid, if your kid is not already interested in it, is I don't want to waste your money or your
Yeah.
time. You know what I'm saying? But if they're already going off about it, you can't get them to stop playing. Oh, I'll probably give you lessons for free, because it's not about that for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, unless I had this influx of really, then I would charge. But I don't have an influx of kids that are genuinely interested in learning how to play. So anyway, but for an adult or a kid, that's where I would start. Do you have the time? Are you going to be disciplined? Do you really want to do it? And then from there we can see how it goes. Let's get a month under our belt and see how much time you've practiced. And okay, and then we can go from there. That's what I would tell someone.
It reminds me of a story like because I started like in my early 30s. I went to a guy, I told him I had my horn. I came and I said, "Hey man, I want to sound like Sambo." He said, "Me too." So he said, but first, let's see if you can play anything. Let's get a note or two out of it. I said, I want to go to Sanborn. And he was like, yeah, let's start with this B right here first, okay?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Though. You got to
that's
walk. You got to crawl before you
it.
walk.
Exactly, man. Well, I tell
Yeah,
you
man.
what, Frank, man, this has been a wonderful conversation, brother. So
Yeah,
before I
man.
get you out of here, man, I'd like you give everybody where all your socials, where they can find you at and booking and what
Yeah.
have you.
All right. So all my socials are the same except for one. But let me tell you what it is. My socials are Frank B Sax on everything.
Okay.
FrankBSAX. The only one that's different is Instagram. It's Frank_B_Sax. But TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, website, Cash App, everything else is Frank B Sax.
All right.
That's what you put
One
down.
other thing, Frank, before we go, the young lady with the violin, Javon Jones, man, you
Mhm.
and her making some beautiful music. Talk about that show coming up, 'cause I saw the flyer. Talk to us about that
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah. So this is going to be her, I think, eighth annual. She does a annual holiday event where she lives in Augusta, Georgia, called Stringing in the Holidays, and she always brings in a I guess, artists. And this year, this will be my first year on the Stringing in the Holidays. We've done other stuff, Valentine's Day. We were doing viral videos about 3, 4 years ago. Many viral videos.
I
Got a lot
saw
of work out of that. Yeah, we were traveling all over the country doing gigs. And that's another thing, man. Like, man, if you want to excel, you want to get out there, your stuff should be on social media. Like what you do, you're always playing, displaying your craft in front of people, and that stuff it'll take you places, man. It did us for we were gigging for about 2 years straight. We stopped doing the videos, but yeah, we do have a show coming up. It's a holiday event in Augusta, Georgia. I'm excited to do it with her, and actually, it's going to be two shows. We have two shows
Okay.
that night.
That's a
Yeah,
beautiful man. You guys make beautiful music together, man. I definitely had to bring that up, man, because I really
yeah,
like that,
man.
man. Hey, Frank,
Yeah.
thank you a lot, man. I really appreciate you, brother. Much continued success
I
to you.
appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. And you keep up the good work, man. I'm gonna keep in tuning into your interviews.
I appreciate you, brother. And and the next time I'm in town, bro, if you're there, we got to hook up. You know what I'm saying?
Let me know. Let me know. Hit me up, man.
We'll
Hit me
do.
up anytime.
All right, brother. All right, man. Take care, Frank. Ladies and
I love
gentlemen,
you,
this has
man.
been Saxa Friends. My guest was the incomparable, my brother, Frank B. Take care, brother. Later, you
Love
guys.
you, man.